Calculate is one of the most useful formulas in DAX, and I want to explain it to you in a simple way using pivot tables. So if I look first at the formula, I would have calculate, and then I have an expression and some filters. What do I mean by expression? Basically, it could be a sum of values, it could be count of values, and so on. And then you will filter it by filter 1, 2, 3, and so on. So if we look at it, the way this works is that first, it will take all the filters that we have in our pivot table, and then it will apply additional invisible filters and get the values. So you won't have to put all those filter 1, 2, 3 in your formula. It might sound a little bit Chinese, but once you see the examples, you're gonna find it super easy. So I suggest that we deep dive into it directly and get an example. So I'll go to another sheet and I'll use Power Query to import some data that I have in a CSV file. If you don't know much about Power Query, I will put a link in the description to my playlist on Power Query. If you watch those videos, you will learn how to use Power Query very easily. So we go to data and then we get data from file, from text CSV, and then we have our data set here, which is an HR data set. If you don't see this tab, it means that your Excel version is old and you can use a free add-in called Power Query. You just install it and you get the same options. Now here I got my data. You can see I have employee name, a bunch of columns. So I want to load it. I'm just gonna do load to, and here I have to say only create connection because I don't want to bring the data and put it in my file, and add this data to the data model. This is very important. We say OK, and then here we're gonna get 311 rows of data, which will have all my data set, as you can see. And now we go to work. So basically I want to first insert a power pivot. So insert pivot table from data model. We will put it in the existing worksheet. We say OK and we get it. The first assignment I want to do is to create a pivot table, and it's going to be a simple one, which will have all the males, the count of males per department. So I have a department column here. If I scroll down, here is my department column. I will put it, and then I have to do the calculation. I'm first gonna do it the manual way. So if you want it manually, you have to search for the gender column, which is here. You will put the gender column, and then you will just put, for example, employee name in the values. So it will do a count of employee name. And then you go to the design of your pivot table. You can see report layout, show in tabular form. Here I have the males and the females. I'm just gonna go and filter the females and I get my numbers. How to do this using calculate? So let's copy it and put the same table here. We're just gonna remove the gender, we keep the department, and we're gonna remove the count of employee name. What we want to do is add a measure. Power pivot, then measures, new measure, and here I'm gonna call this filter male. So we're gonna make this bigger and we'll do calculate. Then my expression will be count. We open the parentheses. We had employee name, so we select it, close parenthesis, comma. We need to have our filter. Our filter would be the gender column that I'm gonna select, equal, double quotation, M. M could be capital or small letter, doesn't matter because it's case insensitive. We have a double quotation, we close the parenthesis, we put it as a number, whole number, and we say OK. So now we have our measure. It comes here automatically, and you can see we have the same numbers. The beauty of it is that you didn't have to put the whole gender column here and filter it and so on. But you'll tell me, but I can do it without it. Why complicate my life? Basically, if you have another scenario where you want to add to your pivot table another column that tells me how many employees are single and have a salary above $150,000. If I want to do this here, I can't because I already have the male as a filter column, and in the second measure, I want males or females. I want both. So what I would have to do manually is create another pivot table, paste it here. I need to remove the gender, and first of all, I need to put the marital status. So we'll put it here. You have to select single. Then we have to put the salary, which is here, another column. And in the salary, I would have to select all the values that are above 150. So here, for example, I'm doing it manually because there are a few. And then I get the numbers. The problem also is that here I have to sum to get those 3 people in the IT department. With measures, it's way easier. So I can just go back to my table. I'm gonna right click here, add measure. We're gonna call it high salary single. We're gonna make it bigger. Then we do calculate. Then what we do is the same expression. So count of employee name. Next, we need our first filter. Our first filter is single. So marital description is equal to single, comma. Our second one is salary. So we search for salary, which is here. And then we want our salary to be above 150 and then 3 zeros. We close our parentheses. We are fine. We will do a number, whole number, and then we press OK. So now we have our second measure. We can just put it in our table, high salary. Let me just close this. And then you can see that automatically you'll get your 4 employees. So here it has done the filtering on top of department and put it next to it. So this is the power of Calculate, and this is how you can use it in a very easy and simple way. So please let me know in the comment section whether you are facing trouble with this formula after seeing the video and any challenges that you have. And as usual, if you like this video, it would be amazing if you can just leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel.